focus. When you hear wet, dry, sweet, savory, chopped, pulled, does it bring strong convictions to the way you like your barbecue? How many here are barbecue lovers? That's good to know. I think Kent Whitaker said it best. He said, simply put, barbecue is the fine art of cooking food outdoors, using low or indirect heat for long periods of time. This unique method has evolved from region to region, using different meats, smokers, woods, and spices available in each area. So, barbecue is rich in heritage, and most people have a strong preference to what they think barbecue is when it's perfect. Now, as a barbecue lover and member of a competitive barbecue team, I wanted to find out more about the history of barbecue and the distinctions in the 4 major regions in barbecue, that being Memphis, West Tennessee, Texas, Kansas City, and Carolina's barbecue. I'm going to share with you today what I've learned. So first is the difference in the types of meats used. In Texas, it's strictly beef cuts. And that's because during the late 1800s and early 1900s, beef cattle farms were the only source of meat. So Texas soon became known for its beef brisket and beef ribs. Now, if you are staying on a dude ranch, shoulder clod is a popular meal. Now, in Memphis, West Tennessee style barbecue, Master Chef Kent Whitaker says that pigs were the choice meat because the terrain and the climate allowed the farmers to raise pigs in large numbers. So whole hog and pulled pork often became a staple. Now in Carolinas, you also consider pork to be the king, even though in the Appalachian Mountains west, hog shoulder smoked is probably the meal of choice. You will find nearly pulled pork in olive restaurants in North Carolina. Now, Kansas City is unique in that it's a blend of all the regions. You have the best of both worlds using beef and pork. Now, beef brisket and pork ribs are a staple plate in most barbecue restaurants in Kansas City. Now that we've talked about the types of meats, let's talk about how they're prepared. So in Texas, the folks believe that the meat should stand on its own. They don't use a lot of spices, and when they do, it's very mild in the dry rub. But in Memphis, West Tennessee style, dry rub is the preferred choice. Memphis barbecue relies on a sweet and savory complex flavor of mixed spices, and dry rub is laid on thick. Now, also the dry rub in Memphis uses a lot of paprika, not only for the flavor, but also because of the color that it gives the ribs. Now in Carolinas, they tend to mix a lot of the eastern seaboard spices in with the southern style. So you'll see a lot of mustards, apple cider vinegar, and then they'll use brown sugar or ketchup to sweeten up the sauce, or the dry rub, sorry. Now Kansas City, again, is a mixture of all regions, but they strive for that sweet heat, and they always put dry rub on their ribs. So our meat is now prepared. Let's talk about how we cook it. Now in Texas, they use 2 main styles of smokers, and they use oak as the source of fire. Now the 2 smokers, you'll have an open pit smoker, and then also, across this great land, we've seen Texas smokehouses pop up continuously and very popular in this culture. Now in Memphis, West Tennessee style barbecue, they use more of a barrel-shaped or oval smoker, and they use hickory ambers. And also, they use a burnt-down amber. So in Kansas City, they decided to mix all of the cooking styles, and you'll see oak, you'll see hickory, you'll see apple woods, so whatever is predominant there. And mainly that's because they were the gateway to the West, so you'll see a lot of the blending come together in Kansas City. Now in Carolinas, it's the same premise style. They use the oval and the barrel-shaped smokers, but they add charcoal. So you'll see a mixture of charcoal and hickory used in the fire. So our meat's cooked. Now let's talk about how you complement it. So fourth is the difference in the sauce philosophy. Now in Memphis, they consider the sauce to be sweet and tangy with a little kick. Now James Buttle of the Southern Food Alliance says some sauces out of Memphis have over 40 different spices in them. But if you've been to Memphis, you know that your ribs should be served dry. Now in Texas, the sauce is spicy and sweet, and it's a tomato-based, and is believed to be either served on the side or spooned over the meat. In Carolina, they view the sauce as part of the dish. I learned this from talking to Pitmaster Kerry Bringle, that they actually chop it in. And they use a vinegar-based sauce with red and black pepper and very few spices. In Kansas City, again, takes the best of both regions, but they use a molasses to darken their sauce and make it a little sweeter. But following that all regions approach, you can get your ribs either dry or wet. So as you can see, there's many different types of meats, cuts, ways to prepare, cook, and serve your barbecue. I hope you've all learned a little bit more about the different regional styles, and next time you have barbecue, see if you can taste the difference.